The Mexican Dirty War, 1960s-1980s, was a period of intense political repression, violence and human rights abuses carried out by the Mexican government against leftist activists, guerrillas, students and dissidents. Set against the backdrop of the global Cold War struggle, the conflict highlighted how the fight against communism often led Latin American governments to suppress legitimate political opposition through brutal means. This documentary explores the causes, events and legacy of the Mexican Dirty War within the wider Cold War context. Historical context: Cold War fears in Latin America. U.S. influence in Latin America. The United States, eager to prevent the spread of communism after the Cuban Revolution, 1959, supported authoritarian regimes across the region. Mexican political landscape. Though Mexico was officially a stable one-party state under the Institutional Revolutionary Party (PRI), opposition movements advocating social justice and political reform grew. Leftist movements. Inspired by Marxist ideas and revolutionary fervor, guerrilla groups and student activists emerged, challenging government authority. Origins of the Mexican Dirty War. Rise of dissent. The 1960s and 1970s saw increased activism among students, peasants and workers demanding democracy and social reforms. Government crackdown. The PRI government responded with surveillance, arrests, disappearances and torture to silence opposition. Collaboration with the U.S. Mexican security forces received training and support from the U.S. to combat insurgency and leftist movements. Key events and tactics. The 1968 Tlatelolco massacre, a turning point where government forces violently suppressed a student protest in Mexico City, killing hundreds. Disappearance of activists. Thousands of suspected dissidents were forcibly disappeared in secret operations. Operation Condor influence. Though Mexico was not officially part of the South American Operation Condor, similar tactics of repression were employed. Use of paramilitary groups. Death squads targeted suspected leftists, creating a climate of fear. Impact on Mexican society. Suppression of political freedoms. The Dirty War curtailed free speech, assembly and political activism. Human rights violations. Torture, extrajudicial killings and disappearances left lasting trauma. Culture of impunity. For decades, the government denied abuses and obstructed justice. Cold War dynamics. Anti-communist rationale. The PRI government justified repression as necessary to protect national security and prevent communist subversion. U.S. support. Mexico's alignment with U.S. anti-communist policies reinforced authoritarian measures. Regional repression. The Mexican Dirty War was part of a wider pattern of Cold War-era repression across Latin America. Legacy and reckoning. Truth and justice efforts. Since the 1990s, Mexico has begun investigating abuses and seeking justice for victims. Memorialization. Families and human rights groups continue to demand recognition and reparations. Ongoing challenges. Political violence and repression remain issues in Mexico, highlighting the war's lasting effects. The Mexican Dirty War exemplifies how Cold War fears led governments to sacrifice human rights in the name of anti-communism. The repression left deep scars on Mexican society and underscores the complex interplay between global ideological struggles and local political dynamics.